Hello everyone. In the imperfect competition, we have to cover two topics. One is monopolistic competition and other is oligopoly. So in the monopolistic competition, we have two lectures. This is the first lecture where I will cover some background and some stuff that is necessary before we do our short run and long run equilibrium aspect. Okay. So we have done what market structure is, what is imperfect competition. So let me revise little bit, then we can move and look at on this aspect. Okay. So what we are doing, we are looking at a market structure for a particular product. Okay, like this soap. Okay. So we are looking at a product of only soap market. Okay, we are not looking at when you go to market there are many product. Okay, there are thousands of product. We are not looking at own product. Okay, we are only looking at a product of a particular market. Okay, or we can say we are looking at a market structure for a particular product like this soap. Okay, I'm not advertising this one, just for example I keep this one. Okay, so we are looking at a market structure for a particular product. Okay, and what we are saying is that what is the characteristic of that market structure. Okay, there are various characteristics. The first characteristic that we are looking at is the number of seller. Okay, we say that if the number of seller is 1, it is monopoly, and if there is a large number of seller, that each firm is a price taker, then we have perfect competition. Okay, and if there is a large number of seller, it is not that much large, but it is large enough, so and each firm maintains some kind of monopoly power or retains some kind of monopoly power, we say that it is a monopolistic competition. And oligopoly, I will talk about that thing later on. Okay, so and other thing I discussed is about difference between perfect competition and imperfect competition. Okay, in case of perfect competition, okay, the market forces of demand and supply determine the equilibrium price and quantity in the industry. Okay, like this is the demand and this is the supply. We get equilibrium price and quantity in the industry. Here you have price and here you have quantity. Okay, but in case of imperfect competition, market forces not able to determine equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Okay, there can be many reasons. One of the reason is monopoly power. Okay, we are just using that thing. Imperfection can be because of information gap, government's rules, regulations, something like that. But we are doing a simple model where firms are having monopoly power. So there is some kind of imperfection in the market. So we are looking at only that kind of aspect. Okay. So imperfect competition is a form of market structure where market forces of demand and supply not operate. Okay, and one of the reason is monopoly power. Okay, and we can elaborate more when we have some other courses. Then we can talk more thing about that thing. Okay, so first let me define what is monopolistic competition. Okay, so as you know, as I discussed also in the previous lecture, that monopolistic competition have some element of perfect competition and monopoly. See, this is the broad framework of 4 different kind of market. Here you have perfect competition, here you have pure monopoly. Okay, in between you have monopolistic competition, and here you have oligopoly. Okay, so from here, when we move to this direction, the degree of imperfection increases. Okay, and here it reaches to maximum. In case of pure monopoly enjoy complete monopoly power. Okay, so degree of imperfection increases. So we are looking at monopolistic competition. Okay, so characteristic you have done, I have sent the notes also. So let me define what is monopolistic competition. So by monopolistic competition, we means a form of market structure. Remember, I am talking about market structure. Okay, but monopolistic competition is a form of market structure where we can find cross substitute product are cross substitute. Okay, but firms can differentiate their product externally, like this packaging. You can see they have different kind of packaging, looks, brand name. Okay, and internally also. So product can be differentiated in 2 ways. Externally they can package in this beautiful way. Okay, or some firm they want to not package like this, they want to attract large customers, so they will reduce the cost, not do this kind of packaging. Okay, and this one how much they cost? Okay, they put 65 rupees. Okay, for this one because of this kind of packaging, and they have different shape, different scent, or you can say order also. Okay, so external product differentiation and internal product differentiation. Okay, so both to this aspect play an important role in case of monopolistic competition, and that determine the shape and position of demand curve. Okay, that I will explain more. Okay, so what is monopolistic competition? Monopolistic competition is a form of market structure. Okay, we are talking about a particular market. You can take toothpaste also. So monopolistic competition is a form of market structure where you have close substitute. Like you have many shop. Okay, formula for making soap is same. So you have many shop, but they are packaged differently. They have different brand name. Internally, they have different order smell. Okay, shape and size. Okay. So they do product differentiation, and it is through this product differentiation that they are getting some kind of monopoly power. Okay, and it is this monopoly power that determines the shape and position of your demand curve. Okay, so let me do in Hindi. Some students have difficulty in English also. So हम लोग कर रहे हैं मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर. ओके, तो मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर में हम लोग देख रहे हैं एक पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट के मार्केट को. ठीक है, तो उस प्रोडक्ट के मार्केट में कुछ भी हो सकता है. मार्केट में जाते हैं आप लोग तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारा प्रोडक्ट होता है. तो हम एक अगर शॉप का देख रहे हैं मार्केट, तो यू हैव 100 ऑफ कंपनीज. ठीक है, तो उस कंपनीज में मार्केट शेयर गिवन है. शॉप का सपोज मार्केट है इंडिया में सपोज 10 लाख शॉप का मार्केट है. ठीक है, दे आर सपोज 150 कंपनीज. तो दिस इज मार्केट, टोटल मार्केट फॉर शॉप. ये 150 कंपनी को डिवाइड करना है इस मार्केट को. ठीक है, और इसमें हम लोग देख रहे हैं मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर में मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन मार्केट में. यहाँ पे क्या है, हमारा लार्ज नंबर ऑफ सेलर है, लार्ज नंबर ऑफ बायर है. लार्ज नंबर ऑफ सेलर इतना ही है, इतना ही बड़ा है कि जितना भी फर्म है मार्केट में वो सर्टेन फॉर्म ऑफ मोनोपोली पावर रिटेन कर सके. परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में क्या था कि सेलर आर सो लार्ज दैट ईच फर्म इज अ प्राइस टेकर. ठीक है, जो भी फर्म होते थे परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में वो क्या थे, प्राइस टेकर थे. लेकिन मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में क्या बोला गया है, वन इज सो मच लार्ज दैट ईच फर्म कैन रिटेन इट्स मोनोपोली पावर. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एज्यूम्पशन है इस थ्योरी का, मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन का. और थोड़ा डेफिनेशन देख लेते हैं. डेफिनेशन में क्या बोला जा रहा है, तो मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन, जैसे ये शॉप है, इसका क्लोज सब्स्टिट्यूट होगा. अगर ये मुझे महंगा लग रहा है 65 रुपीज़ का, तो मैं इसका सब्स्टिट्यूट जाके 30, आई डोंट नो द एग्जैक्ट प्राइस, 30 रुपीज़ 40 रुपीज़ वाट एवर बी द प्राइस. ओके, तो मैं मार्केट में जाके इसका सब्स्टिट्यूट ले सकता हूँ अगर ये मुझे महंगा लग रहा है. ठीक है, तो मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन इज अ फॉर्म ऑफ मार्केट स्ट्रक्चर वेयर यू हैव क्लोज सब्स्टिट्यूट. ओके, and you do product differentiation. Okay, externally also, बाहरी दिखावा जिसको कहते हैं, और superficially also, जो इंटरनली ऑर्डर स्मेल में चेंज हो गया. किसी का रोज स्मेल है, किसी का लेमन ग्रास स्मेल है. ठीक है, तो इंटरनली डिफरेंस करके आप क्या करते हैं, पोजीशन जो होता है आपका डिमांड कर्व का, डिमांड कर्व क्या है, जो इंडिविजुअल डिमांड कर्व है, जो कंज्यूमर डिमांड कर रहे हैं उस डिमांड कर्व का बात कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, उसका पोजीशन और शेप को डिटरमाइन करता है उस पर्टिकुलर फर्म के लिए. ठीक है, तो ये हो गया आपका डेफिनेशन. सो बेसिक एलिमेंट क्या है, ये जो मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन है. लेट मी डू दिस थिंग. दिस मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन हैव एलिमेंट ऑफ दिस परफेक्ट कंपटीशन आल्सो एंड मोनोपोली आल्सो. ओके, सो इन परफेक्ट कंपटीशन यू कैन से देयर आर लार्ज नंबर ऑफ फर्म. ओके, सो इट हैज सम एलिमेंट लाइक दिस लार्ज नंबर ऑफ फर्म, and there is a free entry and exit. In this also you have free entry and exit. And one thing more is there in monopolistic competition is that market share is given. This is very important. Okay, market share is given. Okay, so each firm compete for this market share through product differentiation. Okay, and this competition take place through non-price competition. Remember, this competition take place through non-price competition, and the form of non-price competition they do is through advertisement. I give you one example, like advertisement. Okay, so each firm advertise their product and they do product differentiation. Each firm do sales promotion. Okay, give retainers some promotion thing, and they do the same promotion for them, and they do product differentiation. ओके, तो यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या कह रहे हैं, यहाँ पे ये कह रहे हैं कि मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में आपका मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन, परफेक्ट कंपटीशन और मोनोपोली का एलिमेंट्स इसमें है, ठीक है। तो परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में जैसे आपका फ्री एंट्री एग्जिस्ट है, नाज सेना है, नाज नंबर बाय एंड सेना, ये आपका मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में भी है, ठीक है। और इसमें आपका मोनोपोली का भी एलिमेंट्स है। सो ओके, सो दिस इज द थिंग हियर। ओके, सो दिस वन हैव एलिमेंट्स ऑफ मोनोपोली आल्सो। ओके, हाउ each firm, this is very important thing. Okay, each firm is a, what you can say, let me put it in this way. Let me put in a simple word. Okay, each firm is a monopoly for its own product. Okay, I will explain this word. Each firm is a monopoly for its own product. Like this company, okay, nobody can copy this shape and design of packaging, this order, the shape, okay, of this company. It is protected by patent right. Okay, and some consumer is brand known to this company. I am just using one shop. Okay, so it is protected by that thing. Okay, so it has element of monopoly because each product is protected through patent right. It is branded product. Okay, so other will copy, then it can be sued also in the court also. Okay, so this thing cannot be copied. Yeah, they are no substitute, but each firm retain the right to produce this product exclusively. Okay, no other brand can copy that thing. Okay, तो हम बता रहे हैं कि जो मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन है, इसमें कुछ एलिमेंट परफेक्ट कंपटीशन का है। हाँ, एक चीज इसमें मैं भूल गया था बताने के लिए कि मार्केट शेयर गिवन है आपका, ठीक है। तो इस फर्म को कंपीट करना होगा इस मार्केट शेयर को रिटेन करने के लिए। किस लिए? क्योंकि आपका फ्री एंट्री एंड एग्जिस्ट है। इसमें एलिमेंट मोनोपोली का किस तरह से है? क्योंकि ये मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में जो फर्म होते हैं उसका जो प्रोडक्ट होता है उसके प्रोडक्ट के लिए उसको मोनोपोली पावर है, ठीक है। अभी एक्सप्लेन करेंगे इसको अच्छा से। उसका खुद का प्रोडक्ट के लिए उसका मोनोपोली पावर है, लेकिन वो मोनोपोली पावर लिमिटेड है। किसने लिमिटेड है? बिकॉज दे आर नो सब्स्टिट्यूट। ओके, सो दिस मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन हैव सम एलिमेंट ऑफ परफेक्ट कंपटीशन एंड मोनोपोली। ओके, सो आई जस्ट रिपीट दिस थिंग। सो दिस मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन हैज एलिमेंट ऑफ मोनोपोली पावर, ओके, over its own product, okay, and it is protected through patent right, okay, or brand warranty. You can say branded, it is a branded product, so if someone copy you can sue them in the court also, something like that. And second thing is you have element of competition also, because market share is given and they have no substitute, so they have to compete. They have to compete because there is a free entry and exist, okay, and there is a large number of seller, okay. So these two are element of thing that you will find in monopolistic competition. Now we move on to look at characteristic of monopolistic competition. Okay, I will tell you the shape why it is more elastic than in case of monopoly. Okay, that I will discuss also. So first characteristic of features is product differentiation. So each firm, I'm talking of firm, not industry. Okay, so suppose there are 150 firm. Okay, so each firm will differentiate their product, okay, then only they can charge different prices, okay. So each firm differentiate their product, create brand loyalty, okay, and when they differentiate their product, what they are doing, they are affecting the shape and position of demand curve. Okay, let me explain this thing. This thing is here, right? Let me check recording is going on or not. Okay, recording is going on. So suppose there is two company A and B. Okay, so A company has more people that are brand loyal to that thing. Okay, so this is the average revenue or demand curve for the product of company A. And corresponding to that you have MR curve. It is twice the distance of AR curve. Okay, I have given the derivation, I have done it. Okay, Brand B don't do much product differentiation, and what this is a position here. Okay, this position determine what price they can charge. Okay, so suppose it is here, this company, and it is not able to do proper product differentiation, and people sometimes take this shop also and use it also, so it will be more better than this one. Okay, so company A can charge more price. Okay, I do marginal cost curve. Mi equal to mc. It can charge more price. Okay, company B cannot charge more price. Okay, you can see here price is this one. If you take this one, it is here. Okay, and he company B price, company A price. Okay, this is company A price. So company A can charge more price. It can affect the position of his demand curve. Okay, and can affect the slope of the demand curve also through product differences. And in this way, company A can exercise more monopoly power than company B. Okay, in case of monopoly, what you have very steep demand curve. Okay, very steep demand curve, because it has complete control over the industry. Firm is industry in pure monopoly, right? In pure monopoly. But here in monopolistic competition, in these two company example, company A and company B, okay, one is able to do, or you can say one have more brand known customer than the others. Okay, so its demand curve is more steeper than company B, and position is also high. It can charge more price for the same quantity that is shown. You can make the graph and can make it up. Okay, so let me speak in Hindi also one time. Okay, तो यहाँ पे हम लोग बोल रहे हैं कि प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन इज एन इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है आपका मार्केट पावर डिटरमाइन करने के लिए. ठीक है, इट इज थ्रू प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन पोजीशन ऑफ योर डिमांड कर्व. ठीक है, आपका शेप डिटरमाइन करता है. तो जितना आपका एक चीज है आपका मोनोपोली में आपका है इन इलास्टिक ऑलमोस्ट काइंड ऑफ नेस. यहाँ पे आपका मो इलास्टिक है, ये कह सकते हैं मो इलास्टिक डिमांड कर्व है, यहाँ पे नेस इलास्टिक डिमांड कर्व है. ओके, डिमांड कर्व इन केस ऑफ मोनोपोली. ओके, प्योर मोनोपोली. मो इलास्टिक में कितना मोर, ठीक है, वो हम लोग बता रहे हैं. वो कैसे डिटरमाइन होगा, वो मार्केट पावर से डिटरमाइन होगा. मार्केट पावर कैसे डिटरमाइन होगा, मार्केट पावर विल बी डिटरमाइन थ्रू प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन. हाउ मच यू आर एबल टू क्रिएट ब्रांड नोवेल्टी फॉर योर प्रोडक्ट. ओके, and it can be externally created or internal aspect of the product. You can use both, any aspect. Okay, and for that you need to do advertisement, you need to increase your selling cost. Okay, I will discuss selling cost also. So selling cost play an important role in determining your market power. Okay, and it is also a form of non-price competition. You are not doing price competition among yourself. Okay, and when we do perceived demand, I will explain the reason for that thing. Okay, so यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हैं कि ये फर्म ए है जो मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में है, इसके पास ज्यादा ब्रांड नोन कस्टमर है. ठीक है, और ये अच्छा से प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन कर पा रहे हैं अदर फर्म्स को लेकर. ठीक है, तो इसका क्या है, ये ज्यादा प्राइस कमांड कर रहे हैं मार्केट में. ओके, यहाँ पे प्राइस एक्सिस है, रेदर देन कोई फर्म भी है जो मार्केट में ज्यादा प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो वो कमांड बहुत कम प्राइस कर रहे हैं. ओके, मार्केट पावर इसका थोड़ा स्टीपर है कंपेयर टू दैट. दिस इज मोर इलास्टिक देन दिस वन. ओके, सो ये ज्यादा मोनोपोली पावर करे, ज्यादा प्राइस चार्ज करे फॉर द सेम क्वांटिटी. अगर दोनों बेच रहे हैं तो इसको ज्यादा प्राइस मिलेगा रेदर देन कंपनी बी को. ठीक है, तो ये एक एस्पेक्ट हुआ प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन का. तो प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन, थ्रू प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन यू क्रिएट ब्रांड लॉयल्टी. ओके, एंड इट अफेक्ट द स्लोप, यू कैन से शेप एंड पोजीशन ऑफ डिमांड का. ओके, शेप मींस स्लोप ऑफ डिमांड का. Okay, so this is first characteristics of your monopolistic competition. Second is large number of seller. Okay, so here large number of seller, one is so large. Okay, this is important. One is so large that each firm is able to retain its market power. Okay, this is very important. It is not so large that firm a price taker, firm will become a price taker. No. It is so one is so large that each firm retain its market power. Let me check recording is going on now. Okay. Then third, characteristic is free entry and exist. See, when you have free entry, market share is given. Okay. When you have supernormal profit, some firm, like suppose they are 150 firm, okay, 120 firms earning supernormal profit, and 30 firm are making, like out of 30 some are making loss and some are making normal profit in the short run. Okay, so 120 firm are making supernormal profit. Okay, so when you have this kind of scenario, okay, that large number of firm is earning supernormal profit, so what will happen? New firm will enter the industry. Some will exist in the long run. Those who are making loss, when they are making loss, they will see whether they are making operating profit or not. They will look. Okay, when they make the loss, they will exist in the long run. Okay, in the normal profit scenario, they will continue. They will see they will survive in the long run or not. Okay. So when you have free entry, what will happen? Market share is given. Okay, say 100. Okay. This is the market share given. We have to divide among 10 lakh unit. You can say 10 lakh unit. Okay, same example. Okay, so if there is a supernormal profit, new firm will come up. People will invest money. Entrepreneur, you can say entrepreneur will invest money in this industry. Okay, and some firm will exist also. So when firm will enter, existing firm market share will reduce. Okay, so there will be an intensification of competition. So what this free entry and exist doing? They are intensifying the competition aspect. Okay, so this is the reason why in the long run, even firm have certain kind of monopoly power, they just earn normal profit. Okay, and there is a social welfare loss also, excess capacity issue also. We will discuss only excess capacity issue. So यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं कि सेकेंड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक क्या है आपका लार्ज नंबर ऑफ सेना. लार्ज नंबर ऑफ सेना इतना ही बड़ा, आपका नंबर ऑफ सेना इतना ही ज्यादा है कि इस फर्म अपना मोनोपोली पावर रिटेन कर सकता है. यहाँ पे परफेक्ट कंपटीशन के जैसा नहीं है. परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में क्या एज्यूम्पशन था कि लार्ज नंबर ऑफ सेना इतना है कि इस फर्म इज अ प्राइस टेकर. ठीक है, और उसके बाद थर्ड नंबर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है फ्री एंट्री एंड एग्जिस्ट. इसमें क्या बोल रहे हैं हम लोग? इसमें बोल रहे हैं आपका यहाँ पे फ्री एंट्री है, एग्जिस्ट है, मार्केट शेयर गिवन है. ठीक है, अगर फ्री एंट्री हो रहा है, अगर लार्ज नंबर ऑफ फर्म अब मेकिंग सुपर नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट कर रहा है. ठीक है, अब डेफिनेशन देख लीजिएगा, मैंने करवाया फर्स्ट लेक्चर में. तो उस केस में क्या होगा कि एंटरप्रेन्योर विल वांट टू कम हियर इन दिस इंडस्ट्री. ओके, इन दिस शॉप इंडस्ट्री यू कैन से. Okay, they will come from other industry. Okay, you can make out the thing that there is toothpaste industry, everyone is earning normal profit, and here you have super normal profit, so they are coming to this industry. ठीक है, तो जब फ्री एंट्री एग्जिस्ट है, एग्जिस्ट का मतलब क्या हुआ कि जो फर्म मेकिंग लॉस कर रहा है वो बाहर चल जाएगा, तो जो एग्जिस्टिंग फर्म है उसके लिए मार्केट शेयर ज्यादा हो जाएगा. न्यू फर्म अगर इंटर करता है तो क्या होगा, कंपटीशन इंटेंसिफाई हो जाएगा. तो इससे क्या होगा कि लॉन्ग रन में मोनोपोली या मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में हम देखेंगे कि जो भी फर्म है वो नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट अर्न करता है. इवन उसके बाद मोनोपोली पावर है. ठीक है, उसके बावजूद वो सिर्फ नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट अर्न करता है. तो उसमें क्या होता है, परफेक्ट कंपटीशन के कंपटीशन में आपका एक्सेस कैपेसिटी भी रहता है, आपका सोशल वेलफेयर लॉस ज्यादा होता है. ठीक है, तो एक्सेस कैपेसिटी के इशू हम लोग नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में डिस्कस करेंगे. देन यू हैव डिमांड कर्व डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग. ओके, so demand curve is downward sloping because each firm has monopoly power. They exercise their monopoly power and they can charge the price. If they reduce the price, they can send more product. This is demand curve. Okay, if they reduce the price, they can send more product. If they increase the price, they can send less product. Okay, so they have certain kind of market power where they can determine how much they can produce given their average cost curve and marginal cost curve. Okay, so these are the important characteristic of monopolistic competition. In the second session in this video, we will do comparison between monopolistic competition and perfect competition. Okay, so let me write thing out, then it will be easy to do it. Okay, so before that, let me do one thing, then it will be easy for you to understand shape and slope of this kind of demand curve. Okay, so suppose every country is making car. Okay, India have only one country making car. USA have one country making car. Okay. So in India, suppose Maruti is making car. So in India, Maruti is making car. So it is a monopoly in India. Okay. In USA, some company, I don't know USA which company made, some X company making car. So it is monopoly in USA. Okay. So next, A, B, my car, this product. Okay, I say A, B, my car. Okay, A is a product. Okay, that we are talking about. So we have every country that we have. Suppose everyone have some company that are making car. So in India, Maruti is monopoly. If we don't have any trade, we are closed economy. Then Maruti is a monopoly. In USA, this X company is monopoly. Okay. So in India, this is the demand curve of Indian people for car. Corresponding to that, you have MR curve. This is the additional cost of production that you have. This is the equilibrium quantity in India, and this is the equilibrium price in India. Okay. Similarly, in USA you have, in Europe various countries you have in the Europe continent. Okay. So on this thing you will have. But now we come to the one market. Okay. So let me make two kind of assumption. Okay. Two hypothesis situation, not assumption. So in the first hypothesis situation, hypothetical situation. See, perfect competition is a hypothetical situation. Okay, so I can also make hypothetical situation. Okay, so in the first hypothetical situation, what I am saying that whoever country are monopoly in their country, okay, when they come to the world market, they are producing identical product, homogeneous product. Okay, so this is car. If India is making car like this, okay, this, okay, you can say this is a car. Okay, so if India is making car like this, exactly same homogeneous product is produced by USA and on the European countries and even Bangladesh, whoever want to produce, they are monopoly in their country and they are producing exactly same products. So when they have open up in the hypothetical situation in one market, what we will have a case of perfect competition where each firm will be a price taker. Okay, so they, in the one market, price of car will come down. Okay, if you have situation like this. Okay, now suppose second hypothetical situation, this is homogeneous case. Okay, second hypothetical situation in the one market, that each country can differentiate their product. They can differentiate their product through brand loyalty. Like USA, they will say, oh, we are a developed country, we are more advanced technology. Okay, so they can differentiate their product. So in the one market, they will act like a monopolistic competition. Okay, so in the previously you see that here it is perfect elastic. This case in the one market, when we are looking at, when each firm is producing identical product, there are large number of seller and they have to take the one market price as given based on demand and supply. Then each firm, okay, each firms in industry, in car industry in the world, okay, firm is like in India, Maruti is a firm, okay, and it is industry also. Industry and firm is same in case of monopoly, okay. But in the one market, Maruti is only firm, okay, out of many firms. So there are large number of firms and they are producing identical products. So you will have demand curve like this or average revenue curve, which is equal to marginal revenue, okay. But when you have product differentiation in the product market, you have more elastic demand curve. More elastic demand curve compared to your monopoly case, less elastic demand curve, okay. So this is how shape of a demand curve determined, okay. So in the next video we will do the comparison of perfect competition and monopoly. So let me stop here and write things out, then it will be faster, okay. So in this session we will do comparison between perfect competition and monopolistic competition. Okay. So when we talk about comparison, we need to talk about similarity and dissimilarity both. Okay. So this is simple thing. We just do point wise. So first similarity is that there are large number of buyer and seller and where free entry and exit. Both thing I have explained. So I am not going into that thing. Okay. So and in this similarity, first thing is that in case of perfect competition, you have homogeneous, identical or similar product. Each firm is producing or making the same product. Okay. So there is no size of the firm in case of perfect competition not matter. Okay. It can be large, small or one industry. Okay. In perfect competition, it means the same thing. So in case of perfect competition, each firm is making homogeneous, identical and similar product. But in case of monopolistic competition, firms are not making identical product. Okay, they are doing product differentiation. So product are not homogeneous, but they are cross substitute. Product are not similar, but they are cross substitute. Product are not identical, but they are cross substitute. Okay. Second is in case of perfect competition, firms are price taker, whereas in case of monopolistic competition, firms retain the monopoly power. Okay, they are not. There is a large number of firms. Okay, but firm is that much large so that each firm retain the monopoly power, some form of monopoly power, no excess capacity. So I have the reason for doing first lecture or driving on this cost curve. So you should understand what is the reason behind long run average cost curve, what is the reason behind short run average cost curve. On cost concept are derived from production concept, then we derive the short run cost curve, why it is U shaped, why long run cost curve, traditional long run cost curve is U shaped, why marginal cost curve is also U shaped, why we are taking this portion, everything I have discussed that thing. Okay. So this long run condition of perfect competition also we have discussed. So when we discuss excess capacity issue in case of monopolistic competition, we will use that thing. I am not putting that graph here. It is easy thing. We will do it when in a proper way. Okay. So in case of perfect competition, you have no excess capacity. What I mean by no excess capacity, that in the long run, in case of perfect competition, there is a free entry and exist. Okay. So if there is a supernormal profit, okay, large number of firms they are one identical. If they are earning supernormal profit, then firm will enter. Okay. If firm are making losses, okay, so some firm will exist. In the long run, everyone will earn normal profit. So here you have normal profit. Why? Here because average cost equal average revenue, and you just check the notes. When your average cost equal average revenue, firms earn normal profit. Because in the average cost, we have included the opportunity cost. Okay, we have included the cost of your neighbor. If you are putting up your building, we have included the opportunity cost of your building also. Everything is included in the cost aspect. Okay, so average revenue equal to average cost. Okay, it is when economic profit is zero, we say that firm is earning normal profit, and this is the condition in case of perfect competition for your what you can say equilibrium condition, long run equilibrium condition. Okay, and in case of monopolistic competition, I just know because there is a free entry and exist. If firm are earning normal profit, supernormal profit means over and above the normal profit. Okay, so here you have here AR, MR. So in the long run, firm will earn only normal profit. So I am just making the graph for that thing. So this is the optimum capacity utilization. Okay, I discussed this thing already. Here you have ideal capacity utilization or optimum capacity utilization, minimum of long run average cost curve. But here what we see is the falling part. Okay, falling part of long run average cost curve is tangent here. Okay, so let me draw the graph. This is long run marginal cost. And here you have this thing, guys. So here average revenue equal to average cost. Also firm is earning normal profit. Okay, but you don't have optimum capacity utilization. So this difference is your excess capacity. Okay, and this is on the falling part of your long run average cost curve. Okay, so you are not going to the minimum of your long run average cost curve. So you are not utilizing your capacity fully. Okay, and the reason for this one of the reason is that you have downward sloping demand curve, you exercise your monopoly power, so you are not able to utilize your capacity fully, so there is a excess capacity, and this you do because you want to retain some kind of monopoly power. Okay, that is the explanation. Okay, so and the last one is non-price competition. So what we see in case of perfect competition, there is no form of competition. Firm are not competing. Market price is given. Each firm is price taker. If you are making profit, supernormal profit or normal profit, you operate. And if you are not making profit, just see in the short term that you are making operating profit or not. Operating profit I discussed already. Okay, so you are making operating profit or not. If you are making operating profit in the short term, you will continue. Then in the long run, you will close down. Okay. But in case of monopolistic competition, you are doing non-price competition. Okay, what I mean by non-price competition, let me check whether it is recording or not. Okay. So non-price competition means I am making expenditure on advertisement, sales, promotion on this thing. So it is a form of non-price competition. Okay, so let me repeat in Hindi one time. So हम लोग क्या देख रहे हैं, कंपैरिजन मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन और परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में. तो कंपैरिजन का मतलब क्या होता है, हमें सिमिलरिटी और डिसिमिलरिटी और क्या बोलते हैं उसको, डिसिमिलरिटी देखना होता है. ठीक है, तो सिमिलरिटी में हम लोग जानते हैं, पहला सिमिलरिटी जो मैंने पहले भी डिस्कस किया था, दे आर लार्ज नंबर ऑफ बायर्स है ना, आपका फ्री एंट्री एंड एग्जिस्ट है. ठीक है, और डिसिमिलरिटी देखते हैं क्या है. तो परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में आपको पता है कि सभी फर्म आइडेंटिकल प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं, एक ही जैसा प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं, कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है. ये पेन है, सभी फर्म इसी जैसा पेन बनाए, कोई डिफरेंस नहीं रहेगा. लेकिन मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में क्या है कि प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन होता है. अगर एक कंपनी ये पेन बनाया था, दूसरा कंपनी बोलेगा कि हम रेड कलर का बनाया है, ये ज़्यादा बेटर है, ज़्यादा अच्छा दिखेगा. ठीक है, तो दे कैन मेक प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन, और ज़्यादा दिन चलेगा, वो 20 डेज चलता है, ये 10 डेज चलता है. सो दे मेक सम काइंड ऑफ प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन, प्राइस टेकर. सो परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में क्या है, ईच फर्म इज अ प्राइस टेकर. फर्म इतना बड़ा है कि सभी प्राइस टेकर है. ओके, और प्राइस कहाँ डिटरमाइन होता है, थ्रू मार्केट फोर्सेज ऑफ डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. ओके, लेकिन ये चीज आपका मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में नहीं है. मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में क्या है, ईच फर्म हैव डूइंग प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन. ठीक है, वो प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन करके सर्टेन फॉर्म ऑफ मार्केट पावर रिटेन कर रहे हैं, जिससे कारण वो उनके पास एक तरह का मोनोपोली पावर है अपने प्रोडक्ट के लिए. ठीक है, क्योंकि उसके पास ब्रांड लॉयल्टी है. ठीक है, वो अपने प्रोडक्ट के लिए ही मोनोपोली है, जो प्रोडक्ट बेच रहे हैं, लेकिन उसका मोनोपोली पावर लिमिटेड है. ठीक है, सपोज मार्केट शेयर कोई भी प्रोडक्ट का 100 होता है, मेरे पास 8% मार्केट शेयर है. ठीक है, अगर हम ये प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हैं तो मेरे पास 8% मार्केट शेयर है, तो आई एम अ मोनोपोली ऑफ दिस 8% मार्केट. ओके, इस मार्केट लिमिटेड मार्केट शेयर में हम ब्रांड लॉयल्टी के थ्रू और ये क्या मतलब एंट्री रेस्ट्रिक्शन के थ्रू ये सेम कॉपी नहीं कर सके. मेरे पास पेटेंट राइट है, जो भी है. ठीक है, उसके कारण मेरे पास मोनोपोली पावर है, तो वो एक्सरसाइज करके आई एम ए नॉन प्राइस टेकर, आई कैन एक्सरसाइज माई प्राइसिंग पावर. ठीक है, लेकिन मुझे मोनोपोली जैसा पावर नहीं मिल जाता है, क्योंकि मेरा मार्केट शेयर लिमिटेड है और क्रॉस सब्स्टिट्यूट है. तीसरा चीज है AR/MR कर्व. ओके, ये दिस आई फॉरगेट. ओके, तो AR/MR कर्व इन केस ऑफ monopolistic competition, it is downward sloping. Okay, because firm differentiate their product, they have certain form of monopoly power, so demand curve is downward sloping. But in case of perfect competition, firms are price taker, so you have perfect elastic AR/MR curve, demand curve, whatever you want to say. ठीक है, D पॉइंट है नो एक्सेस कैपेसिटी. सो परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में आपको पता हुआ ये कंडीशन. ठीक है, इसमें नेसेसरी या सफिशिएंट कंडीशन भी सेटिस्फाई होता है. प्राइस इक्वल टू एवरेज रेवेन्यू इक्वल टू मार्जिनल रेवेन्यू इक्वल लॉन्ग रन मार्जिनल कॉस्ट मस्ट बी इक्वल टू मिनिमम ऑफ लॉन्ग रन एवरेज कॉस्ट. ये जो मिनिमम है लॉन्ग रन एवरेज कॉस्ट का, आपको याद होगा मैंने जब कर्व बनाया था. ठीक है, इट इज अ टेंडेंसी पॉइंट ऑफ सेवरल शॉर्ट टर्म कर्व. एक आइडियल कैपेसिटी आउट होगा. ठीक है, आइडियल आउटपुट कैपेसिटी होगा, उसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, तो वो आपका मिनिमम ऑफ लॉन्ग रन एवरेज कॉस्ट में होगा. ठीक है, तो आपका जो परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में है, आपके पास नो एक्सेस कैपेसिटी रहेगा. लेकिन वही चीज आपका मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में क्या होगा, आपका फुल कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन नहीं होगा, ये मिनिमम पॉइंट है, यहाँ पे यूटिलाइजेशन नहीं होगा बिकॉज डिमांड का भी डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग, ठीक है। डिमांड का डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग किस लिए है? बिकॉज यू आर एक्सरसाइजिंग योर मोनोपोली पावर, ओके। बिकॉज ऑफ दैट रीजन, ओके, you are producing at the downward sloping portion of non-run average cost, not at the minimum of non-run average cost. That's why you have excess capacity in case of monopolistic competition. Okay. I think I'm making things clear. If there is a problem, tomorrow we will have online lecture, then I will explain you. Okay. आपका कोई तरह का कंपटीशन नहीं होता है परफेक्ट कंपटीशन में, ठीक है। लेकिन मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में आपका नॉन प्राइस कंपटीशन होता है, जो हम नेक्स्ट सेशन में डिस्कस करेंगे, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट सेशन में हम लोग इसी नेक्स्ट में एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट के बारे में बात करेंगे। जब मैं एवरेज की बात कर रहा हूँ, व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट एवरेज, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट पर यूनिट, ओके, पर यूनिट। सपोज लेट मी मेक थिंग, ओके, सो दिस इज विल बी द इजी एग्जांपल, ओके, दिस इज AR इक्वल टू MR. This, so when I draw a line here, this is about equilibrium quantity, okay. So when I draw a line here, this is per unit. Suppose you are sending 100 unit of output, so this is per unit price, per unit revenue, okay, and this is total revenue, okay. When I draw one line like this, so when you are sending this much quantity, this is per unit price you are charging, okay. Remember, average means per unit, okay. Additional means marginal, marginal means additional, okay. So in the next session we will talk about average selling cost and what will be the optimum average selling cost, okay. Thank you. So now we are going to discuss about selling cost and firm cost structure, okay. So there are two economies generally associated with the monopolistic competition. One is Chamberlain and second is the Robinson, John Robinson. Okay, so we are doing the Chamberlain one. Okay, I am using the assumption of Chamberlain model. Okay, so what we are looking at, selling cost. So selling cost is an important part of this monopolistic competition. In perfect competition, in monopoly, you don't have selling cost. Okay, cost on advertisement, sales promotion, you don't have that thing. Okay, this is one of the important difference also. Okay. So in case of monopolistic competition, you have selling cost, and it is an important component of your monopolistic competition. Okay, and this is the cost, okay, that firm incur to gain monopoly power. Okay, and it is through this the shape and position of demand curve get affected. Like I give you the example of two firm A and B. Okay, one is able to do better product differentiation, okay, able to exercise more monopoly power, so the position is higher for demand curve and it is relatively more steeper than the firm B. That example that I have done, okay. Then in the Chamberlain model, he assumed average cost curve on the cost curve are derived from the production concept, okay, that I talk about. Average cost, average variable cost, marginal cost are U-shaped. So he has taken the traditional cost concept, and average cost you have short-term average cost, long-run average cost, okay. This also he has taken traditional form, U-shape. This is also U-shape, okay. Reasoning I have given already. Marginal cost, you have short-term marginal cost, that is also U-shape. Long-run marginal cost also U-shape. I have done in the first lecture, okay. So he has given the same explanation. Now what he is talking about is that he is saying that even average selling cost is U-shape, and he has provided an explanation for that thing, okay. So when firm is deciding optimum output and okay, when firm is making decision to sell equilibrium quantity, so they need to determine optimum selling cost also. So here what I am going to do is that I am going to show you why average selling cost is U-shape, okay. What is the optimum selling cost that a firm can take, okay, and why we no need to consider optimum selling cost. It will be determined automatically when we determine equilibrium price and quantity, okay. I repeat again in Hindi. इस सेशन में जो हमारा टॉपिक है वह है सेलिंग कॉस्ट और कॉस्ट स्ट्रक्चर फर्म्स का मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में। तो सेलिंग कॉस्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन के लिए, ठीक है। ये जो सेलिंग कॉस्ट है यही डिटरमाइन करता है आपका पोजीशन और शेप ऑफ योर डिमांड कर्व, ठीक है। जैसे मैंने एग्जांपल दिया था दो फर्म का, ए और बी मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में। ए फर्म अच्छा से प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएट कर पा रहा था, जिसके कारण वो उसका पोजीशन हायर था रेदर देन फर्म बी, ठीक है। और वो नेक्स्ट मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में फर्म का डिमांड का मोर इलास्टिक रहता है, लेकिन कंपटीशन में ए बी फर्म के इसका नेस इलास्टिक था, ठीक है। मोनोपोली से आप लोग कंफ्यूज मत होइएगा, ठीक है। डिस्टर्बेंस, माय फोन जस्ट फोन डाउन, ओके। सो दूसरा चीज जो बताया गया था, चैम्बरलिन एज्यूम किए थे कि जो एवरेज कॉस्ट, जो भी कॉस्ट है, जो भी कॉस्ट कॉन्सेप्ट होता है प्रोडक्शन कॉन्सेप्ट से ड्राइव होता है, शॉर्ट टर्म कॉन्सेप्ट, ओके। सो जो भी कॉस्ट कॉन्सेप्ट है आपका यू शेप है, ठीक है। और ये मैं डिटरमाइन करूँगा। उसके बाद उन्होंने ये बोला कि एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट है जो पर यूनिट, अगर आप 50 यूनिट सेल कर रहे हैं तो पर यूनिट सेलिंग कॉस्ट क्या होगा, 100 यूनिट सेल कर रहे हैं तो पर यूनिट, हर एक यूनिट के लिए आपका सेलिंग कॉस्ट क्या होगा, तो उसको बोलते हैं एवरेज, ठीक है, पर यूनिट के हिसाब से। तो एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट, ठीक है, इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन का। और चैम्बरलिन के अकॉर्डिंग ये भी यू शेप है, इसका भी उन्होंने रीजनिंग प्रोवाइड किया था, तो वो भी हम लोग देखने चाहेंगे। और हम लोग डिटरमाइन करेंगे कि आपका ऑप्टिमम सेलिंग कॉस्ट क्या होगा, जो आप मार्जिनल कंडीशन से नेसेसरी और सफिशिएंट कंडीशन से जो इक्विलिब्रियम आउटपुट डिटरमाइन कर रहे हैं। नेसेसरी कंडीशन क्या है, मार्जिनल रेवेन्यू इक्वल टू मार्जिनल कॉस्ट। सफिशिएंट कंडीशन क्या है, स्लोप ऑफ मार्जिनल कॉस्ट मस्ट क्रॉस मार्जिनल रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम बिलो, ठीक है। तो ये आपका मार्जिनल कंडीशन है जो हम लोग मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी थ्योरी में करेंगे, ठीक है। जिन्होंने क्लास अटेंड किया है ऑफलाइन उनको पता है कि सब कैसे होता है, तो बेसिक क्राइटेरिया मैंने बता दिया है, वो भी करेंगे, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे जो एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट है जो ऑप्टिमली कैसे डिटरमाइन होता है, उसके बाद मैं ये बताऊंगा कि इवन वी आर नॉट लुकिंग एट दिस एस्पेक्ट, इवन दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट, if we are able to determine equilibrium output and quantity in monopolistic competition, this optimum average selling cost will automatically be determined, ठीक है। ये सिंपल सा लॉजिक है जो मैं बता दूंगा। बहुत स्टूडेंट को कंफ्यूजन होता है, नहीं पता चलता है, बुक में नहीं दिया रहता है, तो कंफ्यूज रहते हैं, तो वो चीज़ मैं क्लियर कर दूंगा, क्योंकि सबको पता है कि everybody knows that selling cost is an important part of monopolistic competition, but when we do short and long run, we are not taking selling cost into average selling cost you say perspective in that thing. We just do with short and average cost, long and average cost concept, okay. Then some students say that then why we do this concept, okay. So that explanation I will provide also here, okay. So let me define total cost, okay. Total cost is total production cost. According to Chamberlain, total production cost is the cost incurred on the production of goods and services, okay, plus transportation cost. So in the production cost, the cost incurred to produce goods and services, including transportation cost, okay, is the production cost. And total selling cost. Total selling cost, you have advertisement cost, send promotion cost. You give means send person also money to promote your product. So on this cost are including total sales cost, okay. So I define total cost is the sum of total production cost and total selling cost. So when I divide it by total output, okay, I will get average cost. This is average production cost, okay, or you can say average total cost. Average production cost, sometimes I will write average cost, okay. So don't get confused. This is average total cost, okay, and this is average selling cost. So what is average selling cost? It is per unit selling cost, okay. And how this average selling cost is determined, okay. So determining factor I will also explain little later on, okay. So what we are saying is that selling cost is an important aspect in monopolistic competition. It is selling cost, okay, cost on advertisement, sales promotion, that determines. Let me check recording is going on or not. Okay, So it is selling cost that determine your position and shape of your demand curve of each firm. Okay, and according to Chamberlain's at that time they are using the traditional concept of cost. So he also used the same thing and devised a mechanism where he said that average selling cost is also U-shape. Okay, we are not going into detail criticism on this thing. We will do that later. Okay, and total cost I define as sum of total production cost plus total selling cost. So let me discuss about average selling cost. Okay, why it is U-shape. So here you write average selling cost and here you write quantity. Okay, so initially when you want to do advertisement and you don't spend much money, okay, so it impact on sales will be no, and the cost average per unit cost will be more. Okay, per unit selling cost will be more and impact on sales of that expenditure will be less. So it will start from very high here. Okay, I repeat again. Initially what happens is that when you have less expenditure on advertisement, sales, promotion, it impact on sales, okay, will be very less. So per unit impact of selling cost will be very less. So average selling cost per unit selling cost will be very high. Okay, once you start to increase the selling cost, okay, so increase in selling cost, okay, will be less than increase in your sales, or you can say rate of increase in sales will be more than your increase in selling cost. Like when you do advertisement, increase the cost for advertisement, your sales increases more than that. Okay, so your average selling cost, average advertisement cost start to decrease. Okay, because market share is given, you have limited market share, you can take, like suppose you have 5% market share, you can increase to 8%. Okay, by doing advertisement. If there is a new industry, by doing advertisement you can increase to 5 to 8%. Okay, so after a certain point you will reach a saturation point. Okay, beyond that, if you increase the selling cost, if you increase more on sales, promotion, advertisement, okay, if you keep on increasing this thing, okay, sales will not increase in proportion. So increase in selling cost or advertising cost will be more than increase in sales. Okay, so what will happen? Advertisement cost or average selling cost will start increasing. Okay, this is what I will do. So initially, when you are not spending much on advertisement, not much on selling cost, per unit average selling cost is very high. Once you start to increase selling cost, okay, or once you start to do more advertisement, okay, your sales will increase. Increase in sales will be more than increase in your advertisement cost. So your average selling cost will fall, or per unit selling cost will fall. What I mean by per unit selling cost is that when you sell the output, okay, there is certain production cost, okay, and there is certain advertisement cost. So we are looking in per unit term for that product. Okay, so once they reach the saturation point for your product, okay, once you reach that, after that, if you increase the selling cost, okay, sales will not increase in proportion. Okay, so increase in sales will be less than increase in your selling cost. Okay, so what will happen? Your average selling cost will increase. That is why it is used. Let me do in Hindi one time. यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहे हैं चैम्बरलिन ये बोल रहे हैं कि इनिशियली अगर पर यूनिट, अगर एक यूनिट को हम देखते हैं क्वांटिटी सेंस जो आप कर रहे हैं, तो इनिशियली अगर आपका एडवर्टाइजमेंट में, सेंस, प्रमोशन में ज़्यादा एक्सपेंडिचर नहीं कर रहे हैं तो उसको सेंस में इम्पैक्ट नहीं पड़ेगा. ठीक है, अगर आप 1000 रुपये खर्च कर रहे हैं, 1000 रुपीज़ इस प्रोडक्ट के लिए, ठीक है, उसका सेंस में कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं पड़ेगा, आपका पर यूनिट कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं हो रहा है. सपोज मैं बेच रहा हूँ 500 यूनिट ऑफ सॉप, ठीक है, अब मैंने 1000 रुपीज़ एक्सपेंडिचर किया है सेंस में, उसके बावजूद मैं कितना बेच पा रहा हूँ, सिर्फ 5000 यूनिट शॉप. आई जस्ट फॉरगेट द एग्जाम्पल. So like I am selling 500 unit of shop, okay, this shop, and even after doing expenditure on advertisement which is very less, I am still able to sell 500 unit. यहाँ पे हम क्या बोल रहे हैं कि 500 यूनिट साबुन में बेच रहा हूँ, ठीक है. एडवर्टाइजमेंट में मैंने कुछ छोटा मोटा एक्सपेंडिचर कर दिया 1000-2000 रुपये, उसके बावजूद भी मैं 1000 यूनिट बेच पा रहा हूँ. तो सेंस से क्या होगा, मैं सेंस तो जीरो रहा, लेकिन पर यूनिट सेलिंग कॉस्ट क्या, सेलिंग कॉस्ट मीन एडवर्टाइजमेंट कॉस्ट क्या रहा, बढ़ गया. पहले जीरो था, अभी 1000-2000 रुपये हो गया. तो उससे कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं होता है. इनिशियली आप थोड़ा सा सेलिंग कॉस्ट करते हैं, लेकिन एक पर्टिकुलर अगर एडवर्टाइजमेंट करते हैं प्रॉपर वे में, तो क्या होता है, उसका इम्पैक्ट सेल में होता है. अब कुछ मार्केट शेयर में इंक्रीज हो सकता है, ठीक है. तो इनिशियली क्या होता है, क्योंकि मेरा प्रोडक्ट पोटेंशियल रीच नहीं हुआ है मार्केट शेयर का, तो उससे क्या होगा कि इंक्रीज इन सेल ज़्यादा होगा मेरा एडवर्टाइजमेंट कॉस्ट का इंक्रीज होने से, ठीक है. जो सेल से मुझे अर्निंग होगा वो ज़्यादा होगा मैं एडवर्टाइजमेंट कॉस्ट में जो मैं एक्सपेंडिचर कर रहा हूँ, उससे क्या होगा, मेरा एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट डिक्लाइन करेगा. लेकिन वंस आई रीच द सैचुरेशन पॉइंट, ऑप्टिमम पॉइंट यू कैन से, ओके, ऑफ माई मार्केट फॉर माई प्रोडक्ट, आफ्टर दैट व्हाट विल हैपन, सेलिंग कॉस्ट विल स्टार्ट टू इंक्रीज. अगर मैं एडवर्टाइजमेंट में एक्सपेंडिचर कर रहा हूँ, तो other firm can also start doing expenditure on the advertisement, and I cannot increase my market share more, okay. So what will happen, it cannot increase more. If it will increase, what will happen, I have to increase the selling cost will go up rather than my sales, okay. So that is why my average selling cost is you save, okay. Next we have to do what is the optimum selling cost for firm in monopolistic competition. I repeat again, what is the optimum average selling cost for firm in monopolistic competition? Let me check in the code now. Okay. See, to draw this graph, okay, generally we do is that we no need to do that explanation. So I do it in two parts, okay, to make it easy, because if I make it difficult and you people are not sitting here, then it will be difficult for me to know that you understand the graph or not, okay. So I do the graph in two way, okay, then it will be easy. So let me draw downward sloping demand curve. Corresponding to that we have marginal revenue curve. Okay, I'm not drawing the average cost curve, short term, long run average cost curve, okay. When we draw, then we can know whether firm is making supernormal profit, normal profit or loss, okay. So there is simple tricks to know that thing, okay. Let me tell that thing also. When you are drawing average cost curve below your average revenue curve, okay, and you draw your marginal cost curve, okay, from the minimum of your average cost curve, you will always get supernormal profit, okay. And when you are drawing your average cost curve that is tangent to your average revenue curve, okay, you will get normal profit, okay. When you draw average cost curve above average revenue curve, okay, cost is more than your revenue. Average cost is what? Per unit cost. Per unit cost is more than per unit revenue. That means you are making loss. Okay. So not should I diverge or not? Okay, let me diverge and do it. Okay. Then I will do the optimum advertisement expenditure. Let me check it for you now. This I am going to do also later on also, but let me do it because I have provided one notes to you people. So when your average cost is below this curve, average cost, I am doing short term, okay. So when you draw the marginal cost curve, it goes from the minimum of your short and average cost curve. Marginal cost, this is marginal cost. You can say short and marginal cost also, okay, no problem. So necessary condition is MI equal to MC, and so now for marginal cost must cut marginal revenue from below. It is cutting from below, so this will be your equilibrium quantity. And to do to get equilibrium price, you need to have point in the price line. Then you get equilibrium price. P star. This price is nothing but your average revenue, per unit revenue by selling that commodity. Okay, per unit revenue. Now what is the cost? Along this line, just see, this is the cost curve. Okay, so this is your average cost. So this is the supernormal profit. Okay, supernormal profit or total supernormal profit, and this line is per unit supernormal profit. Okay, so in the short run, firm can earn supernormal profit also. Let's make one more graph. So when you draw AI equal to AC, short run average cost, see it is in the forming portion. Okay, and I will draw the, this is AR curve, this is marginal revenue curve. Okay, marginal cost must come, goes from the minimum of this short run average cost curve. Okay, so here you have like this. So you need to draw properly straight line. Okay, and make sure that these two are same. So this graph, let me check, just keep on falling down. Okay, so there is tricks to draw this graph. Okay, let me do that thing. So when you draw a graph like this, you draw average revenue, marginal revenue, average revenue. Okay, then you draw the marginal cost curve. Okay, MI equal to MC. You get equilibrium quantity, equilibrium price, then you draw this cost curve. Okay, so here at this price is average revenue and here average cost is same. So average revenue equal to average cost. Firm is earning normal profit here, normal profit. Okay, here you don't have any boxes. That means firm is earning only normal profit. Okay, here firm is earning supernormal profit. And when you have graph like this, where cost is above here, take from the minimum, certain marginal cost, certain average cost, average revenue, marginal revenue. Okay, price here, price is nothing but average revenue. And this is cost, average cost from cost curve. So this is NOS, total NOS you can say. Okay, this is the way you can draw graph, and in the long run you will have situation like this. Okay, we will do that thing. So when you draw average cost curve inside, you will get supernormal profit. So in exam, if they ask you to do supernormal profit, show a situation where monopolistic firm is earning supernormal profit, you have to draw this graph. Okay, so the situation where monopolistic firm is earning normal profit, draw this graph. Okay, and this you will go from the minimum of this graph. Okay, this graph is correct. Only this thing is like that, and this one show the graph where monopolistic firm is making loss. So you have to make this graph. Okay, So this is important question, you should remember. Okay. So next I am going to discuss what I am going to do before this, optimum advertisement expenditure. Okay, optimum advertisement expenditure. Okay, so let me determine equilibrium quantity and price. Okay, this is AR curve, MI is twice the resistance of that thing, this is MC, MI equal to MC, determine the necessary condition. Slope of marginal cost must cut marginal revenue from below. Is doing that. This is necessary and sufficient condition, both satisfying. This is equilibrium quantity and this is equilibrium price. Okay. Now, what I am going to do is that I am going to take this Q star. Q star is my equilibrium output for this representative firm in this monopolistic competition. Okay, and we know the shape of average product curve, or we say average cost curve. Okay, it is U shape, average product curve. Okay, because I told you total cost is nothing but total. This is what total cost, total production cost plus total selling cost. Production cost is nothing but total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Okay, so divided by quantity, we get average total cost equal to average production cost plus average selling cost. So what is average selling cost? Average selling cost is the difference between average total cost and average production cost. And you need to explain what is average total cost, average production cost. Average production cost is the per unit cost of production of goods and services. Okay, that firm incurred, and it includes the transportation cost also. Okay, and if you remember the graph, one of the graph that I have drawn, that initially these differences will be more, then it will narrow down. Okay, same logic you can use. So this is average production cost plus average selling cost. Okay, so this graph I have same graph. Okay, I have added in the average production cost, average selling cost. Okay, that's why it is drawn on top of that thing. Okay, that thing I have done in the production, in the course, in the first semester. Okay, I have done this thing. So this is your average production cost. I add average selling cost to average production cost. So I draw one curve. Since this is also U shape, this is also U shape, so the addition of both will be U shape. Okay, and Q star is my optimum output. Suppose this is Q star. Okay, so per unit, this is my per unit optimum advertisement cost. I am using advertisement cost. You can use selling cost also. Okay, selling cost is more broader concept, and this thing is my average production cost. Okay, because this curve is your average production cost. This whole thing is what? Average production cost plus average selling cost. So you will subtract from this portion, average production cost, you get optimum average selling cost. Okay, why? Because Q star I just derived. Q star is my optimum output. Okay, let me do in Hindi this thing. अभी हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, हम लोग एडवर्टाइजमेंट का ऑप्टिमम एक्सपेंडिचर क्या होगा वो निकालना है, कितना क्वांटिटी प्रोड्यूस होगा उसके हिसाब से मेरा क्या ऑप्टिमम एडवर्टाइजमेंट होना चाहिए वो मैं निकाल रहा हूँ. ठीक है, ये पर यूनिट बता रहा है, ये टोटल बता रहा है, टोटल एडवर्टाइजमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर एट द ऑप्टिमम लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट. ठीक है, ये ऑप्टिमम आउटपुट निकालने के बाद हम बता रहे हैं यहाँ पे कि आपका एवरेज प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट है जो यू शेप है, उसमें मैंने आपका एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट ऐड कर दिया, क्योंकि एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट भी यू शेप है. तो एवरेज प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट में जितना आपका एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट आपका इक्विलिब्रियम आउटपुट पे लगा है, दोनों को ऐड करके इसका पोजीशन ये आ गया है, ठीक है। ये सिर्फ ऐसा क्यों है, प्रीवियस नोट्स पैनल नोट्स जो मैंने जाना है उसका एक्सप्लेनेशन देखिएगा, आपको एक्सप्लेनेशन समझ में आ जाएगा, ठीक है। तो क्यू स्टार मैंने जो ऑप्टिमम आउटपुट निकाला था उसको मैंने यहाँ ड्रॉ कर दिया, ठीक है। ड्रॉ करने के बाद मुझे एक बार फिर से बताने दीजिए, ओके। ये रहा मिनिमम यहाँ पे है, इसका मिनिमम यहाँ पे, ठीक है। ड्रॉ करने के बाद ये मुझे पता है एवरेज प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट, तो मेरा ये एवरेज प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट हो गया, ठीक है। ये क्या है, मेरा एवरेज प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट प्लस एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट। सो ये मेरा क्या हो गया, कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ दिस टू। अगर ये पोर्शन मैं सब्सट्रैक्ट करता हूं जो मेरा एवरेज प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट पर यूनिट है, तो हमको क्या बचेगा, एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट। और ये मेरा ऑप्टिमम लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट में, तो ये मेरा ऑप्टिमम एडवर्टाइजमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर हो गया, ठीक है। मैंने एक्सप्लेनेशन प्रोवाइड कर दिया, यू कैन चेक द नोट्स ऑल्सो, ओके। दिस इज द इजीएस्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन दैट वी कैन गिव। सो एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट, ओके, फर्म कैन गेट फ्रॉम द ऑप्टिमम लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट। सो हिंट मिल गया होगा कि हम लोग क्यों यूज नहीं करते हैं एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट का। मैं थोड़ा और डिटेल में करता हूँ उसको, तब समझ में आएगा। Before we do price and output determination in monopolistic competition, let me do some background thing why we are not going to use average selling cost in our analysis, okay, and why it will be automatically determined, okay. So in case of individual firm, when we look at individual firm in a monopolistic competition, its market is isolated from the rival firm, okay. The market that it has created through brand loyalty, okay, through patent thing, so it become an isolated market. The problem is that they have no substitute. So the sense that they are able to do, sense that this individual firm is able to do, and market share that it is able to command market share is limited, okay. So sense of firm, individual firm, okay. In case of monopolistic competition, my phone down many times, so I need to repeat, I don't know why it's falling down. So in case of monopolistic competition, sense depend on price of own product, okay. So if you keep price higher than your rival and there are much Konoja substitute, then you are not able to sell much product, okay. Second, price of substitute product, okay. Third thing, buyer income, okay. So your demand curve, position and shape will be determined by your market power, but your market buyer income is also an important determinant of your demand curve also, okay. So we have buyer income also. Fourth thing, brand loyalty. Like for firm A, the example that I give, firm A and firm B, if customer is more brand loyal, then your demand curve will be more in a monopolistic competition, more steeper than other firm. Other firm can have better demand curve, okay, compared to you. But compared to monopoly, whoever be the firm, whatever be the firm, okay, they will have more elastic demand curve, okay. And fifth is advertisement expenditure or selling cost, you can say, better selling cost, okay, selling cost. So what we are saying that this is the background, okay, we are developing to determine price and output under monopolistic competition, okay. So in case of monopolistic competition, each firm has its isolated market, okay, from its rival. So it has created a limited market share, okay. It has a limited market share, and that market share provide isolation within that large market, okay. But the problem is that it has cross substitute, so it has to look at how much it can sense, how much market share it can command in the long run, okay. And that depend on these 5 factors, okay. So price of the product of individual firm, price of substitute, buyer income, brand loyalty, advertisement expenditure, on this thing determine how much sense and market share that an individual firm will command, okay. Let me repeat in Hindi. मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में इंडिविजुअल फर्म जो है उसके प्रोडक्ट के लिए जो मार्केट है वो एक तरह से आइसोलेटेड मार्केट है, ठीक है। उसमें कोई दूसरा फर्म कमांड नहीं कर सकता अगर वो प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन बना के रखता है, मोनोपोली अपना पावर बना के रखता है, ठीक है। बट प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि उसका क्लोज सब्स्टिट्यूट है, जिससे कि उसका सेंस मार्केट शेयर लिमिटेड हो जाता है। और सेंस जो है फर्म का, ये जो इंडिविजुअल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव फर्म है, वो क्या चीज़ पे डिपेंड करता है, 5 फैक्टर पे डिपेंड करता है। एक तो वो जो प्रोडक्ट बेच रहा है उसका प्राइस पे डिपेंड करता है, उसका सब्स्टिट्यूट कौन है उसका प्राइस पे डिपेंड करता है, बायर इनकम है, आप जो मार्केट में सेल कर रहे हैं उसके इनकम पे डिपेंड करता है कि उसका इनकम क्या है, ब्रांड लॉयल्टी पे डिपेंड करता है। अगर मैं डिटोन का शॉप यूज कर रहा हूँ, मैं ब्रांड लॉयल हूँ, इवन दे इंक्रीजिंग प्राइस बाय 2 रुपीज 4 रुपीज से 5% 10% will be higher, 5%, then I will not mind continuing with that brand also, okay. So the demand curve will be more steeper than the other brand, okay. And the last one is advertisement cost and expenditure, ठीक है। तो एडवर्टाइजमेंट कॉस्ट एंड एक्सपेंडिचर भी डिटरमाइन करता है आपका सेंस को, जो मैंने डिस्कस किया ऑलरेडी, ओके। सो नॉट गोइंग डीप डाउन इनटू डिटेल, ओके। व्हाट माय सेलिंग कॉस्ट डिपेंड ऑन, ये जो मैं सेलिंग कॉस्ट करता हूँ सेल्स प्रमोशन एडवर्टाइजमेंट में, वो क्या चीज पे डिपेंड करता है, इट डिपेंड ऑन प्राइस ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट। इफ द प्राइस ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट इज नॉट टू हाई, I will not make too much advertisement expenditure on advertisement, sales promotion, okay. Price of substitute, okay. If price of substitute is very competitive, I cannot do much of selling cost, okay. I cannot do much sales promotion, much expenditure on this thing, sales promotion advertisement on this thing, okay. So this also determine my selling cost. Then buyer income, okay. If I am serving a market that cannot afford this 65 rupees shop, okay, then there is no point of making this shop available in this market, okay, making any advertisement for this kind of shop. I can tone down this shop, I can produce the same shop, but I can change some form factor to reduce the cost and sell in the market, okay. And first thing is brand loyalty, brand loyalty. So on this factor determine your selling cost. On this 4 factor determine your selling cost. Okay. So when we are determining equilibrium quantity and prices, what we do? We take buyer income to be given, brand loyalty to be given, price of substitute to be given. Okay. If we change the buyer income, your demand curve will change for this representative firm. If we change brand loyalty, your demand curve will change. If there is more brand loyal, it will become more steeper. If less, getting less, it will become more flatter. Okay. So it will depend on price of substitute also. What is the price of substitute? That will also determine position of your demand curve. So we take this thing as given. Okay. When we do our price and output determination for individual firm. Okay. So when we are looking at individual firm, okay, this is AR. This is MR, okay. This is marginal cost, necessary and sufficient condition satisfied. So this is equilibrium price and quantity. This equilibrium price and quantity is based on the assumption that price of substitute, that is price of other firm product, are not changing. Okay, it is given. Buyer income is not changing, brand loyalty is not changing. Okay, then only I am able to determine this price of the product. Okay, so once equilibrium price and output is determined, optimum selling cost will be determined. For marginal condition, margin revenue equal to marginal cost. So now for marginal cost plus marginal revenue from the below, we are getting this thing. So once this is optimally determined on this thing are given, we get optimum selling cost also. This is the reason why we are not using selling cost when we do the analysis. Like 3 graph I have drawn, supernormal profit, this thing. So I can only use the average cost. I will not use average product cost. I just write average cost, okay, for short term. And for long run, I will mention long run average cost, okay, in the next lecture. So this is the background thing that you people need to know. And let me do in Hindi also one time this thing, then you can clear. So जब हम लोग इकोनॉमिक एनालिसिस करते हैं तो हम लोग कोजेशन इफेक्ट को देखते हैं, ठीक है। कोजेशन इफेक्ट देखने के लिए हमें अदर फैक्टर को कांस्टेंट रखना होता है। जैसे आपने क्वांटिटी डिमांड इज फंक्शन ऑफ ऑन प्राइस ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूट बाय इनकम, तो सबको कांस्टेंट रख के ये नो ऑफ डिमांड देखते हैं कि प्राइस इंक्रीज होता है, क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड फोन होता है, प्राइस डिक्रीज होता है, क्वांटिटी डिमांड इंक्रीज होता है। तो यहाँ भी उसी तरह का कॉन्सेप्ट यूज किया गया है, ठीक है। क्योंकि हम एवरेज सेलिंग कॉस्ट इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन में। वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू यूज दैट कॉन्सेप्ट एंड द रीजन इज दैट वंस वी डिटरमाइन इक्विलिब्रियम क्वांटिटी एंड प्राइस, optimum or equilibrium selling cost will automatically determine. Okay, so we no need to make the complexity of doing the graph. Okay, so हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, प्राइस ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूट, बिकॉज हम लोग इंडिविजुअल फर्म के एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, तो प्राइस ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूट बाय इनकम ब्रांड वारंटी गिवन लेते हैं, और मार्जिनल कंडीशन से मेरा इक्विलिब्रियम प्राइस ऑफ क्वांटिटी डिटरमाइन हो जाता है, दिस इज प्राइस ऑफ प्रोडक्ट ओके ऑफ दिस रिप्रेजेंटेटिव फर्म, ये डिटरमाइन हो जा रहा है। गिवन दिस इज ऑप्टिमली डिटरमाइन, सो माय सेलिंग कॉस्ट विल बी automatically optimally determined. So in the next lecture I will do the perceived demand curve. Okay, that is easy concept, and they have group equilibrium concept also. If I see I have time, I will do that thing also. Short run and long run equilibrium aspect, if people know the crux and excess capacity, but we will do in detail. Okay, so for today lecture I will stop here. I hope this lecture is useful to you, and tomorrow we will have, tomorrow is date I think 11. Okay, tomorrow we will have our online session in Google Meet at 10 AM. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Okay.